Police in Myanmar on Friday again opened fire on protesters against the military coup, killing at least one person, and ahead of a United Nations Security Council meeting on the crisis. The violence took place as the military lost a fight over leadership of its UN mission in New York, and the United States announced new sanctions targeting military conglomerates. The man was killed in the city of Mandalay, witnesses and a doctor told Reuters by telephone. In the city of Yangon, police fired rubber bullets and stun grenades to disperse protesters who had been joined by about 100 doctors in white coats, witnesses said. Hundreds of protesters in the southeastern city of Darway also faced tear gas fired by police as they marched in protest against last month's military coup.
SAA owes aircraft leasing companies, I read, around 30 billion rand. The screws are turning on the carrier. It owes aircraft leasing companies 30 billion rand. Lessors want about 1.7 billion rand paid soon, by August. The debt had already piled up before SAA went into voluntary business rescue in 2019. Again, cap in hand, the carrier is going to government for this payout. Would that be over and above the 10 billion that has already been received?
Depends on what perspective you're looking at it from. The business rescue practitioners insist that that's not in fact the case, that 1.7 billion is in fact already included in the 10.4 billion, or actually 3 billion, that they had asked for and had approved, but which still has largely not been paid.
New footage and new information has emerged from this week's fatal debt collapse in Bolivia. Before the accident, hundreds of students at El Alto Public University can be seen gathering on a fourth-floor balcony. Then, the railing gives way. Police reported that 3 people died immediately, and 4 others died in hospitals. The 4 men and 3 women were between the ages of 21 and 23. At least 5 people were critically injured as well. In the wake of the tragedy, grieving friends and parents gathered outside university buildings, and Bolivia's president said via social media, "Our deepest condolences to the Alteño people and the bereaved families. We look forward to the early clarification of the facts."
Now, the date on the calendar may have changed, but in 2021, Boeing is facing the same problem. The same question prevails: when and if the 737 MAX aircraft will be deemed safe enough to fly. In a recent incident, American Airlines Boeing 737 MAX made an emergency landing in New Jersey after pilots noticed a possible problem with an engine oil pressure indicator. However, the possible issue was not related to the NCAA system linked to the 2 fatal 737 MAX crashes in 2018 and 2019 that prompted the plane's 20-month grounding.
On the first papal visit to Iraq, to the cradle of civilization, Pope Francis was given a warm welcome. Folkloric dancing at the airport, an honor guard at the presidential palace. But above all, it was his message of religious tolerance that is being so well received in a nation where hundreds of thousands have died because of religious rivalries and fanaticism. Iraq today is called to show everyone, especially in the Middle East, that diversity, instead of giving rise to conflict, should lead to harmony, the pontiff said. I asked the president of Iraq if this country is ready.
Do you think this can be the start of a healing process?
Iraq has been through tough times, and for the Pope to come at this time, despite many calls for him to postpone the visit, as some people would put it, for a better day, he has come to help us go to a better day.
And more countries are stepping up their defenses against Chinese aggression. The Quad is strengthening its partnership. Leaders of the alliance are set to hold their first ever summit together. It's happening this month at a time when European powers have stepped in to keep China in check.
An announcement from Australia caught the world by surprise on Friday.
A very warm and engaging call with President Biden.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison confirmed that leaders of the Quad will hold their first ever summit together. The Quad is a strategic quadrilateral of India, Australia, Japan and the United States. Morrison said Quad summits will become a feature of Indo-Pacific engagement. And the four leaders will work together for the peace, prosperity and stability in the region.
Skirmishes return to the streets of Dakar as Friday marks the third successive day of protests in Senegal's capital, following the arrest of the country's opposition leader Ousmane Sonko. New restrictions by government on internet access, not enough to quell the dissent. On Thursday, chaos had erupted as clashes broke out between Senegalese police and university students. And by late evening, the violence reached a climax, leading to the first protester death since the dissent began. Sonko was arrested on Wednesday after hundreds of his supporters clashed with police, protesting a rape accusation made against him, which he denies.
Via our Fox Edge station, no details yet as to where or what is going on, but when we get live feeds like this, we bring them to you live, raw and unfiltered. Now, just hearing there's a gas line explosion. This is in Harris County, the Houston area. You can see them furiously trying to put out that fire. Look at those flames.